What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to do the post-game talk and talk about what happened in today's game, how everything went. Just a really frustrating game that could have easily been won by the Colts. You think if you would have told me we held the Lions to 24 points in this game, I would have thought we won the game. Maybe I would have thought we won the game 20. Maybe I would have thought that we won the game 27-24, whatever the case. I still would have thought we won the game. And I think, early on and kind of what was talked about coming into this game, right? The Lions this year, for as good as they are, they've been great this year. They've been starting slow. They start slow. They start slow. That's what everybody said. And then, boom, we go up 3-0 in the first quarter, and then boom, 14-3 in the second quarter, and at halftime it's 14-6. And obviously there are a number of different reasons why we didn't put points on the board, and that's really the story of this game, is all the points that we left on the field. Right, at the very least, like at the absolute least, should have ended up with 21 points in this game. Probably should have ended up with at least 28 points in this game, but just time and time again, just making things happen. First possession of the game, you think about that first possession. It was an incredible drive and incredible execution all the way down. We get to the 3-yard line, 4-yard line, 3rd and 1, and we do some sort of pass, and a little RPO pass that ended up being a busted play. Well, guess what? We had Quentin Nelson gets an illegal man down the field because it took too long to develop. Look, AR thought he was going to run. By the time he decided he was going to throw it away, we already have Big Q down the field. And so, again, the Colts just beating themselves. And that's what we've become accustomed to, is just beating ourselves. And that's the culture that we've had for years now. And you need that culture to change. How do you get that culture to change? You reset, right? We tried with bringing Anthony in. We tried not to do a full rebuild, and the more time goes on, the more you face a team like the Lions, and you see, if you have an organization that they come in, they work hard, everybody comes in, understands their role, and does their job. You have a building where everybody has winning habits and they're preparing in the right ways, and they have that championship mentality, right? Championship mentality is what you hear, and it's really just doing the things that you should be doing to be able to go out and win games. And right now, it doesn't matter how games go. The Lions figure out how to win games because they're great. And today showed that we are just there for a little while. I was even saying during the stream, like, hey, we're close. And then by the end of this thing, it's like, I don't know if we're really that close. I think a pretty deep overhaul is in store. And I don't know what that looks like, right? Because I do think Shane hasn't been perfect. Like, Shane's not perfect, and we all have our qualms about Shane. And listen, penalties do come back on the coach. But a lot of that comes down to players. Players are the ones that are out there. Players are the ones that have to execute. There are different reasons for different penalties. And I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody that they're wrong for criticizing Shane Steichen. But again, this is a guy who, as a play caller, he has a track record being a great play caller. There are different times in the game where Shane Steichen did a really good job. And actually, honestly, like, without all the penalties, right, that negated big plays, like, our offense would have been explosive today. We would have had a bunch of big plays. And we'd be saying, wow, Shane Steichen really rounding back into form. It's really about execution for the players more than it is Shane Steichen. Although when it does come to penalties, that's where you start to factor in Shane Steichen and how he's doing, and like trying to get a vibe on how this is happening, how the same stupid stuff continues to derail games, right? Illegal man downfield, illegal shifts, holding calls, false starts, just continuously putting us behind the ball. And usually we get these penalties, and like, we'll have these stupid penalties and it'll be a play that didn't matter anyways. But now we have Anthony Richardson, who's out here making play after play after play, and it just doesn't matter because it's flag after flag after flag. when we do make a big play, right? We came into this game, we got 100% outclassed. After the first quarter, it was just outclassed, and we had our chance to get up in the game, and we left it on the board, right? And we're going to have a video. I'm going to put together a video whenever the All 22 comes out and I can get some stuff together. But I want to put together a video of all the points we left on the board just in this game. And I might even go back and go get a video of all the points we left on the board in the Texans game and the amount of help that AR is not getting. Like how good it could have been for AR had he just gotten some help. Right. So we're going to have a video about that. And we'll go more in depth on everything. But just the offensive line, I believe I do have the stat here. Anthony Richardson was pressured on 56% of his dropbacks versus the Lions per PFF, 14 pressures on 25 dropbacks. There were also 8 penalties committed on those dropbacks, 5 on the offensive line. And I don't even think this is a final number, but because this was at 3:17 when this was on Twitter, when this came out on Twitter, but it says 97 negated yards plus 56 penalty yards is 153-yard swing. The Colts at this time, which, yeah, this was before the game ended, had 231 yards of offense so far in the game. It could have been 380 plus without the penalties, right? And of course, I mean, teams are going to have penalties. To the Lions a long time to get a penalty in this game. Long time. They definitely missed a couple on the Lions and weren't calling them on the lines, but nonetheless, Colts, man, I mean, penalties were the name of the game today, right? And you think about some of the help that he wasn't getting, all those penalties. Also, Anthony Richardson today, short touchdown dropped by Andrew Ogletree. I mean, that would have been a massive moment in the game, getting a touchdown. And Andrew Ogletree gets open. It was a great throw, perfect throw by AR. Like, you literally can't ask for a better throw. Comes in, Andrew Ogletree literally just hits off his hands, just like last week against the Jets. Anthony Richardson, we win that game, but there was a moment, pretty key moment in the game when we needed to get something going. Michael Pittman Jr. lets it hit right off his hand. And actually, now that I'm sitting here talking about it, no, it didn't even hit off his hands. It went through his hands, hit him right in the face mask, and bounced off. He's got to be able to get help. Andrew Ogletree drops the touchdown. Ashton Doolin fails to get both feet in bounds on a dime. 40 plus yards down the field. Anthony Richardson threw some incredible balls today, dude. I mean, incredible balls. Short, intermediate, long. He's figured out the accuracy issues. And for the most part, obviously there were a couple where pressure was coming. He threw off his back foot and he missed the mark on a couple of them. But man, he threw some incredible balls today that didn't count. Like the highlight tape of just the plays that didn't count is good enough to win a football game, and we missed out on it, right? Because then you have 30 the yardage gains that we missed out on, 30, 21, 21, and 7 nullified by penalty, right? And others just being drive killers, right? Putting us in situations where it's hard to come out of, right? You get into 1st and 20, it's hard to dig out of that, especially when the Lions did what the Lions always do. They made it hard to run the ball. And we knew coming in that was going to be a problem. Overall, we have 96 yards. Richardson had most of it. But, I mean, yeah, if you look at the final, wow. The final tally, the Lions ran 72 plays, held the ball for 37 minutes. We ran 49 plays, held the ball for 23 minutes. After the first quarter, just absolute, utter, complete domination by the Lions. Exactly what we feared. We didn't get crazy blown out, but the Lions, for the first time in franchise history, I believe is what I saw, have not allowed a touchdown in consecutive games. They run through the AFC South like it's nothing. And this one, of course, people are going to talk about Anthony Richardson and the accuracy issues, 11 of 28, 172. When you go and look at the tape, it's not really, there wasn't really accuracy issues. Again, he's not getting help. I think there are guys not running the right routes and not knowing what to do. There were several times in the game where Anthony Richardson was visibly upset. Somebody who, the amount of work that he's putting in right now, you got to assume, with the reads he's making, he looks more prepared. he looks more prepared coming in. He's making decisive decisions, and a guy like Kylan Granson not looking for the ball. I think multiple times in the game. Kind of a misread by Kylan Granson, doesn't get the ball. A.D. Mitchell at least once in the game. I think Anthony Richardson was upset with him because of a missed read, and it's something he wasn't doing right, and he ended up missing them. I think there was one third down specifically that I'm thinking of that during the live stream, I was like, what just happened here? I thought the ball might have gotten tipped at the line of scrimmage, just, on a different page than Anthony Richardson. So A.D. Mitchell has to grow. He has to, same thing really as they are, right? Growing, maturing, learning the playbook. They got to make sure that he's on top of that, right? And as Reggie, he's the receivers coach. You can't babysit these dudes, but it's your job to coach him. It's your job to hold him accountable. It's your job to make sure he knows what he needs to know, right? You can't have a rookie coming in costing us games because he just doesn't know what to do. And you have Kylan Granson doesn't know what he needs to do. Tight ends cost us so much today with drops, with not knowing the ball's coming, just not being ready for it. We talk so much about tight ends, and there's one tight end a lot of people are talking about that the Colts should draft. Obviously, last year was Brock Bowers. He goes 13 to the Raiders. We end up instead with Liatu Latu, and so still looking for that tight end. Now, I do think we're in a spot. Somebody's got it. One of the tight ends got to sit, probably Drew Ogletree. Go sit. Will Mallory needs to stop being inactive. Get Will Mallory in there. Let him start making plays. He's got the athleticism. He's got the hands. Let him get in there. Let him go make plays and be a reliable tight end for us. Next year, Tyler Warren, whoever that, I don't know college football like that. I will study him. A lot of people talking about him. He's somebody that we'll definitely be looking at with what I'm seeing from everybody else. We'll definitely be talking about him. But a guy named Tyler Warren could be drafted by the Colts next year, especially depending on our draft positioning, right? What's going to happen the rest of the season? Now, we do have the Patriots who look still like a very bad football team. Then we have a bye week. What happens after that? I know we play the Broncos in there. We play the Giants. I think the Giants, Broncos, Giants, Titans, Jaguars. I'm almost certain is how the year finishes up in that order. And Broncos could be a tough game. And then, so we could realistically win 4 more games. And then we end up at 9-8. And if that were to happen, we'd be picking right around 15 again. So not in a tremendous situation. Could a star tight end fall to us at that spot? Who knows? I guess it depends who else is going to be up there. I haven't looked into what the possible draft order is and what teams are looking like, where we could fall in that order. Of course, as the weeks go on, we'll get a better idea of that, and we'll look forward to that. But just for this game here, for the Lions game, a lot of what we thought was going to happen happened. We got dominated. We're very clearly not good enough. And to go back to where I kind of started this whole conversation, you got to rebuild it. I think Shane Steichen is the coach for the future. You keep him and Richardson together. You keep Richardson and Steichen together, but rebuild the front office. You got to rebuild the coaching staff. You need to rebuild the team. There are a lot of guys that are going to be free agents that are currently on the team. They're going to be free agents 2025. See ya. Obviously, what we're doing isn't working. We need to go get what needs to happen is that we need to go get veterans from other teams, right? Guys that have been in other places, guys that have been in winning situations. Because what we have veterans in every room. That's what everybody talks. Well, we do have a veteran in every room and this and that. And that's true. But what good is a veteran in every room if they've just been here the whole time? The whole time, most of the people on the team that have been here their whole careers haven't won the division because we haven't won it since 2010. Matter of fact, I don't know if any of the players currently on the team have won the division. So if that's the case, we got to rebuild it. We got to figure out how to build in the future around Anthony Richardson, with Anthony Richardson. He's the guy, very clearly the guy. He's starting to put in the work. How do we get the team around him to be as great as possible? And that's going to lead me. I mean, Michael Pittman Jr. looked like vintage Michael Pittman Jr. 6 catches, 96 yards. So the conversation I want to have about Michael Pittman Jr. kind of poorly timed. But with the offseason coming up, we're not a playoff team. And even if we do get the playoffs, we're not competing for a championship. So, just in a position where, you really start to think about the offseason and things we might be able to do. There's going to be some tough decisions. All right. And Pitt might have to be one of them. So there's plenty to talk about, plenty of thoughts to have. But again, this game really comes down to penalties, man. Shooting ourselves in the foot. Anthony, if our team didn't shoot themselves in the foot, Anthony just played what people call legacy game, right? And it's almost memed so much, not taken seriously about legacy game. But like the Anthony Richardson Revenge Tour, to come out last week, play the way he did. If the team played better around him against the Lions, we would have won. His stats would have looked better. I thought Anthony did a really good job. I thought he played really well. And the team around him really let him down. He had a legacy game. He had a legacy game against the Lions, and the team around him just isn't good enough to be able to win games. They're just not. This iteration of the Colts just is never going to win games, and something's got to change. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. There are a lot of really good players on this team, but these players together can't get it done. Just week in, week out, consistently, this group can't get it done. I would assume the hard decision there. Yeah, a lot to talk about. We'll talk about that soon. Yeah. What I was about to say will be its own video at some point. Moving forward is going to be tough, man. Right now, the vision's unclear. It's just we're clearly a bad football team. We have a special guy that can be special at quarterback. We got a guy. We got some pieces. We just got to figure out how to win. We got to learn how to win. And you know what? I mean, maybe we could use this Lions team as an example. They started Dan Campbell's coaching career there, and Jared Goff, that era started 0-11, right? Or 1-11. No, it was like 0-11. And then they finally got a win. And then started to take off from there. Right? I got this channel because my video on a different channel about the Lions being my dark horse to win the Super Bowl. Well, the guy that runs the syndicate, his name is Derek. He runs Lions Syndicate. Okay? The video I made got into his algorithm because he's a Lions fan. He saw it, liked what he saw from me, as a talent, and brought me into the syndicate. But just to say, I mean, that was my dark horse for a Super Bowl last year, right? And a team that, can't be a dark horse for a Super Bowl when they're one of the favorites, but that I've tried to tell people coming in, like, I think the Lions are going to be better than last year. And here they are. They're better than last year. So we went up against the best team in the NFL, team that's probably going to win the Super Bowl. As long as things don't fall off the rails, and with our team being the way it is, like I'll be a de facto Lions fan, rooting for them, right? Team that hasn't had the success, right? In my lifetime, most of my lifetime, it was Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Football was great in Indianapolis for a long time, and I got to experience a Super Bowl win here in Indy. So hey, if we're gonna have another bad season, I'm gonna stay latched onto that train. I also like the Bills. It'd be cool to see the Bills play the Lions. And now the Bills losing another Super Bowl would be heart-crushing. Heart-crushing for Bills fans. But I would like to see both those teams succeed in the AFC. If the Colts aren't going to have success, and I'd like to see the Lions win a Super Bowl. So that's where I'm at. I think we ran into a buzzsaw. Lions are just running through everybody right now, playing incredible football week in, week out. We didn't play great. The Lions forced some of that, but a lot of it was just self-inflicted wounds. And again, we'll have a video about that. Hopefully Tuesday. We'll have to see. It's just whenever they decide to put the All 22 out and on NFL Pro and NFL Plus and all that kind of stuff, so that I can get the tape the tape that I can use and show you guys, and we could just look at everything together. All the mistakes that cost us points. We're going to go through the whole thing. And again, plenty of content coming out, as you could hear through some of the other stuff I've said. Plenty of things left to talk about on the table. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications. Also, you get notified anytime we have any more content on this channel. Should be live every single Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll see what happens. I'm supposed to be moving Saturday. Things might be a little chaotic. Things might be a little different. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated, but should be streaming every Sunday, of course, except for the bye week, but we'll probably still stream at some point during the day on the bye week, just to kind of, catch up, hang out, say what's up, that sort of thing. Because I appreciate you guys coming by the channel, stopping by the channel. Y'all are my people. So, again, make sure you subscribe, have notifications on so you get notified of any time we have any content coming out. And, of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.